It hadn't been personal. The Icarans didn't have the same concept of race like the humans did. Whoever was on the side of the Icaran bond was an Ikari, and certainly there had been times humans were considered not just equals, but brothers in flesh. No, it started by accident. The humans had settled an outpost close by the bond city of Argos. They had been angry for some reason, and had gathered in great numbers to voice that anger. Historians and anthropologists say that doesn't necessarily mean they intended any harm, but how could we have known? It certainly looked and sounded like aggression to us. The orderlies fired non-lethal rounds. The crowd dispersed, and only when hundreds of the humans didn't get up, the orderlies realized the rounds weren't as non-lethal to humans as they were to Icarans. The incident could have been explained. Mistakes could have been forgiven. When our diplomats tried to reason with the humans, however, it wasn't the deaths that angered them the most. It was the way in which we had treated them after. We leave the dead to nature. There is nothing more sacred than to give your body to the moles of the Great Plains. It seemed the humans disagreed. 80 years it took for the war to actually start, but start it would. It had been written in the stars since that fateful day near Argos. 3 generations of humans had died by then. Only one of ours had even been born. The war started when a human diplomatic vessel was shot. Warning shots had been fired first, but humans, they are a stubborn people, and refused to divert course. After that, the fateful waves of history took over. We won the orbital battles. Every last one of them. Our technological prowess was great. The shields of their vessels were thin. We Icarans live long lives. We see change before it happens. We solve problems before they occur. Humans, however, die. They die honourable and glorious, but they die nevertheless. Change always seems to catch them by surprise, and forces them to change even faster. We saw this as a weakness. It wasn't. When the ships went down, and the realization set in that we weren't beatable by brute force, they changed. They adapted. Entire societies were reorganized in service of the shipbuilding industries. 5 years later, they were producing ships faster than we could missiles. The ships were shit, but numerous. Weak, but fast. They were many. We were few. It was on the ground, however, where their real craftiness stood out. The malleable little fuckers changed strategy 3 times before we even caught on. It is on the ground where they were granted the nickname of Flesh Wizards. When our guns shot more accurately than theirs, they flooded our factories with genetically modified pests and plagues. When our camouflage was superior, they bred entirely new species of hounds to sniff us out, and over the great plains of Argos, they spread the seeds of beautiful plants with poisonous roots, to root out the moles which had put hate in their hearts. Still, it wasn't quite enough. But Scythe suffered losses. The war raged on for many years in numerous places, littered with corpses that could have been more than a point for the score. It ended where it began. I had just shot a man. I didn't want to, but I did. His legs were gone. The light in his eyes would follow soon. It was the first human I had ever seen, and I was taken by surprise when he spoke my tongue. He didn't curse or cry or plead to a god. No. He asked to be buried somewhere where the moles wouldn't get him, where the beasts of Argos wouldn't feed on his bones. I didn't quite get it, but I complied. And after the arduous task of digging a grave by the stones of the mountain range, I petitioned my superiors to do the same with all the human deaths. A few months later, Argos was the first colony where a ceasefire was signed. 2 nearby colonies followed within weeks. A year later, a peace treaty was signed, and to this day, Icaran kids learn the first sentences of that treaty by half. It prescribes how we should bury the corpses of humans and leave the Icarian ones to be. I stand by that treaty. Though they aren't called humans anymore. No, now they are Icarians H. Icarians in their difference. Peculiar, but ours. It had never been personal. It should have been.